Hi and Assalamualaikum everyone. We are from Group 5 are going to present about National Education Policy. First of all, these are our group members. We have 6 group members that are going to cover up about National Education Policy. And these are our contents. We have 7 subtopics in our contents to talk about that focuses on National Education Policy. For the first subtopic of our content, I'm going to talk about the introduction of National Education Policy. But before that, I am Nalitani Banting Tiaramon. My ID number is 2025415854 are the ones who's going to present about the introduction of National Education Policy. Firstly, what is National Education Policy? The Malaysian education system is guided by the National Education Philosophy, a comprehensive framework designed to create a high-quality education system that fosters national integration and develops individuals holistic.
Okay, now let's move to the next slide, which is the issues in national education of policy. But first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Rosmai Sarah binti Kairuzi, and you guys can call me Rose. And my ID number is 2025888298. So let's move to the first point of the issues in NEP, which is teacher workload and welfare, which that's mean is the educators like the teachers need to do a lot of tasks that are not related to their work scope, like administrative work and non-academic roles, such as sport and stuff that will make their work environment become stressful. So by the issues of having extra tasks, they will be overwhelmed because they need to handle the new education system that are provided by the government. So in addition, the government need to prioritize the teachers' welfare, welfare support like mental, emotional, and physical, so that they can provide the effective student learning. Okay, let's move to the second point, which is human resources, and teaching shortage. Okay, so MOE, also known as Malaysia Ministry of Education, we're planning to enter a student the year one at the age of 6, not 7 like usual or before this, starting this 2027, which means that there will be a lot of extra employees in education sector. O- Okay, now let us move to the next slide, which is the benefits in national education of policy. The first point of benefit in NEP is equal access to quality educations. This NEP policy brings equal access to quality education for ensuring every child, regardless of their background status, whether they from the low income family or rich families, receive 12 years of high quality education, such as preschool until to upper secondary. Okay, this initiative that already made by the government has led to almost all children in the primary school are registered in education sector with the enrollment rate of 99.11%, while the upper secondary enrollment rate was more than 90%. That show Malaysia really has a high percentage of the registration between the students, which is the good things. Okay, so the second benefits in NEP is it can minimizing students' dropout rates. For you guys facts, in 1989, primary school dropout rate was really low, which is 3%, but dropped to 0.1% in 2011 or 2012 due to initiative that was made by the government, which is that the dropout rates already been reduced by the government plan. Okay, so this absolute number of students leaving the system before completing a full secondary education reaches into the thousand, and and fun fact, most of them are from low income household, which is why the government need to help them by giving the money support or emotional support to this, so that they will be motivated to go to school and finish their educations.
Now let's move to the objective that National Education Policy want to achieve. First of all, let me introduce myself first. My name is Nik Najwa Christina binti Ninazi Izwan. My student ID is 202569786. So, the National Education Policy is introduced to ensure that education system can contribute to the development of individuals, society, and the nation. In Malaysia, the policy plays an important role in producing educated and responsible citizens who can contribute to national development and to make Malaysia's vision successful through education. National education policy is important to achieve standard of a fully developed country from the aspect of economic development, social justice, and dynamic society, moral and ethical, towards creating a united, democratic, liberal, and dynamic society. It's also emphasized developing skills like critical thinking, effective communication, and leadership. There are several objectives of the national education policy. First of all, the national education policy aims to produce critical thinking, produce knowledge, like critical thinking skill and competencies that are important for their future and daily life. Through formal education, students are prepared to face challenges in the modern and competitive world. As we know, nowadays people love to be influenced. They thought that education is not important. Therefore, Ministry of Education, which is MOE, must strengthen the importance of education. Secondly, the policy aims to develop balanced individuals in terms of intellectual, spiritual, in- spiritual, and emotional and physical aspect. This objective is in line with the national philosophy of education, which emphasizes holistic development. Students are encouraged not only to excel academically, but also to participate in sports, leadership activities, and moral education. Next, besides that, the national education policy seeks to strengthen national unity among the people. Students from different races, religions, and culture backgrounds study together in the same education system. This helps create understanding, cooperation, and harmony among citizens, which is important for maintaining peace and stability in our country. Another objective national education policy is to instill moral and ethical values among students. School plays a role in shaping discipline, responsible and respectful individuals. Moral education and religious education help students develop good character and positive attitudes in their daily life. Lastly, the national education policy also focus on empowering educators in educational institutions. Ministry of Education encourages teachers to continuously upgrade their knowledge and teaching skill through training program, workshop, seminar, and digital learning course. This is important because the educational system is constantly changing due to advanced technology and modern learning method. Thus, teachers must be able to adapt with a new teaching approach such as online learning, hybrid learning, and the use of artificial intelligence, which is AI, in education. That's all.
So now we move to the next slide, which is actor. Before that, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Marina Benti Ahmad Kamal. My ID number is 2025X70554. Okay, so actors. National Education Plan was successful through active cooperations and participations for different levels. Each actor played a specific role in ensuring that policy schools are effective aligned with national standards. In order to reach a final decisions, group of people who are involved in making public policies contribute their opinions and interests, which ultimately influence the policy's outcome. So one of the actors that involved in a national education space is a government. So in a parliamentary system in Malaysia, political executive consists of the prime minister who is the most influence in policy actor. In Malaysia, Prime Minister assists by Cabinet and Ministry of Education to shape and align traditions of public policy system. The Prime Minister plays a crucial role in deciding the overall national decisions. So, for example, education has been one of the most important aspects which they are more focused on improving education's quality because they want to ensure that the students are competitive internationally within academic and also in Tibet. So this is because not all the students choose academic as their preferred pathway. So they emphasize Tibet to produce skills workers need by industry. Other than that, ministry also bring actors that are involved in national education plan. Since they have authority, resources and approval to implement policy, each cabinet has their own specific role by giving specific portfolio, meaning they are responsible for managing a particular sector. For example, Ministry Educations have a responsibility to overseeing the education policy and also school program in Malaysia. Okay, so lastly, policy choice are influenced by both the quality and politics in country. In simple terms, policy refer to political system that shows how decisions can be made and what actions are possible. On the other hand, politics refer to the policy making process such as negotiations, debate, and also discussions. So that's all for me.
Okay, now let's move to another topic. But before we start, let me introduce myself first. My name is Mayu Nurhanania binti Kamal Zupi. My student ID is 2025860004. Okay, now I'm going to explain about the implementation or strategy used by government in education policy. The implementation of Malaysia National Education Policy is guided by the Malaysia Education Blueprint 2013 to 2025. And now, continue with Rancangan Pendidikan Negara, or we know it as RPN 2026 to 2035, that launched in January 2026 and to be implemented starting 2027. This strategy outlined to transform the education system in line with the country development goals. The policy is implemented through a coordinated effort led by the Minister of Education Malaysia in collaboration with school educator and other stakeholders. Okay. One of the important strategy in education blueprint is integration of digital technology in learning. The Minister of Education has introduced digital learning platforms such as the Lima and online system learning. In this era of modern education, technology has become increasingly important to the student because technology allows students to access education materials or resources such as e-book or textbook anytime and anywhere without burden them. This strategy also helps students to improve their ICT skill and prepares them for future careers in digital economy. Besides,
As we can see, during COVID-19 pandemic that required everyone to stay at home to prevent spreading COVID-19 virus, this initiative has become especially crucial because it allows the learning and teaching process to continue without any problem. The government also play a role in invest in infrastructure such as internet connectivity and digital device to support these transformations in all government schools. Meanwhile, in RPN 2026 to 2035, the Minister of Education aimed to continue this plan by combining technology into teaching and learning process to create a modern, effective education system. This plan is important because technology is becoming an important part of daily life, communications, and for the future careers. The government ensures that all the school will receive a better internet access, digital device, and smart learning facility. Thus, by doing this, the government can encourage teacher and students to use online learning platform, digital learning stores, and education application during lesson. For example, the use of smart classroom and ensuring the installation of LCDs in every classroom. By doing this, students will be exposed to ways of using AI or artificial intelligence that can help improve student understanding and engagement in class. Okay, next, the expansions of TVET, or we know it as Technical and Vocational Education and Training. This is important because uh, it provides students with practical skill and technical knowledge that match industrial needs because not all students excel in their academic skill. Okay, the government can expand TVET program in school and college. By doing this, it can reduce unemployment among graduates because students gain practical skill that meet with industry demand and produce a skilled workforce in Malaysia economic development. Meanwhile, in Rancangan Pendidikan Negara (RPN), government emphasis to strengthening technical and vocational education and training TVET by identifying students that weak or uninterested in academic subject by providing alternative for students to develop their technical and practical skill. For example, government ensure that more vocational and technical program will be introduced in school, college, and training institutions to attract students and provide opportunities for students to study in field like engineering, automotive technology, information technology, and hospitality. The Minister of Education also will play a crucial role in cooperate with industry and company to provide internships, industry training to expose students with the real world of working. So by doing this, it can ensure that students can secure better job opportunities and contribute to the country development.
So we're moving to the next point, which is SWOT analysis. So first of all, I'm gonna introduce myself. My name is Hisham Rifki Nur Iman bin Hishamuddin. You can call me Hisham, and my student ID is 2025817358. So first of all, what is SWOT analysis? So objectively, SWOT analysis is to assessing the national education policy using SWOT analysis to identify its success, failure, and areas for improvement for Malaysian students. So the first point in SWOT analysis is strength. So the first strength is universal access for education, like heavy financial backing. As example, RM 58.7 billion in budget 2024. It is ensure free textbook and aid, keeping B40 and rural students in Sabah and Sarawak in school. So it gives all students across Malaysia to have right to have education like others. So the second point for strength is standardized national curriculum. Implementation of KSSR and KSSM ensure equal education quality and monitoring across both rural and urban school. So this also will make sure that all students across Malaysia will get the same quality and quantity of education in their study. So the second point of SWOT analysis is weakness. So the first weakness is urban-rural infrastructure gap. Remote school, sekolah daif, lack basic facility and internet access due to high logistic cost, creating a digital device. So as example, Sarawak and Sabah have many remote school or sekolah daif due to due to they deep in village or whatsoever. And the second point of weakness is exam oriented mindset. Despite abolishing UPSR or PT3, a culture of rote memorization for grade precise leading to declining PISA score in critical thinking. So as example, parents in Malaysia always judge their kids by their result. So they think that straight A student is good, and while the medium quality of student that doesn't get straight A is bad. But it will also lead to new problem. That is, student can solve their problem. Student can answer their question on paper, but cannot solve a real life situation problem. So we moving on to the next point of SWOT analysis, that is opportunity. So the first point of opportunity is TVET partnership, collaborating with industries such as Proton and Samsung to provide secondary student with vocational skill that match current job in market. So it is important for our country because our country need more worker that have professional skill in mechanic, and IT like AI. And the second point of opportunity is STEM education focus, expanding program in science, technology, engineering, and math to prepare the future workforce for green energy and global competition. So, by giving STEM education at early age, our country can produce our own um, engineer engineer professional and our professional worker, just like other country like Japan. So the last point of SWOT analysis is threat. The first point for threat is skill mismatch and outdated syllabus. Rapid technological change can cause a disconnect between graduate skill and industrial needs, leading to high unemployment. High unemployment. So high unemployment can causing a bad affection for our country future. And the last point for threat is socioeconomic and digital vulnerability. Rising inflation strain poor family school finance, while digital threat like cyberbullying negatively impact student mental health. So government need to improve the policy to make sure that student can live and study in comfortable environment and safe environment. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Hence, we have reached the last subtopic of our contents, which is conclusion. The conclusion of Malaysia's national education policy is centered on the ambitious goal of transforming the nation into a high-income, developed economy by fostering a globally competitive, united, and skilled society. Ultimately, the policy concludes that Malaysia's future prosperity is tied directly to its ability to move from mass education to high quality educations that reduce ethnic stratifications and prepare youth for a globalized workforce. Hence, The policy emphasized that students should focus on the importance of knowledge